Okay, trying to minimize my window here, guys. Trying to become a little bit more efficient. Did you get a notification?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see how many people actually closed out on YouTube after the premiere. Because I didn't actually say we were going to go live.
Yeah.
Let me kind of switch this light around because it's kind of bright.
Got Jerry on, Devastator.
Hey, Devastator. Didn't see you at the premiere earlier. We just finished up the premiere. I was like, well, should I do a live? I mean, we just did the premiere. I said, well, let's go ahead and do a live. And you can tell I don't even really have the lights set up. I look like I'm in a fish globe or something.
See what Jerry said?
Oh, I thought, no, I'm not going to shortchange you, buddy. Let me get this light set up because this thing is like shining in my face. I may just have to turn it down a little bit. Let me turn it down a fraction. It's way too bright.
Devastator said he just got both notifications.
You just got both notifications. That's YouTube. We gotta love YouTube. That's okay, man. You can go back and watch it. It's a review on the Firefly FFST. It's that particular model doesn't have the Floyd Rose tremolo. It has a 2-point fulcrum bass tremolo on it. But I tell you what, man, I can't. I've never really been a big fan of the tremolo without a locker, but the more I puttered with this guitar, I would reach down and grab the bar. I'm like, huh, thing stayed in tune. And then I'd play on it some more, and I'm like, huh, it stayed in tune. And as I was recording, I just started using it like I would a Floyd Rose almost. I mean, I don't ever really go crazy dive bomb anyway on a Floyd, but for, I'd probably say 80% of the stuff that I do on a Floyd, that stock 2-point tremolo with no locker, it would be fine. I literally didn't have a problem with it whatsoever. It worked well. I was really surprised at how well it worked. Let me move this light again. This thing is like killing me. Hold on. That's a little better. I don't have the other one on that's right here, so that's kind of making the room look weird. Like I said, I really wasn't set up to do a live tonight. I came home from work. I actually took a slight power nap because I was dead tired. Then kind of did a 50-50 dinner thing. Linnell cooked part of it. I cooked the other part of it. Ate real quick, and literally when I finished eating, I had like 2 minutes to go. And then the premiere was starting. I was still in the kitchen when I heard the computer out here just go poof on the sci-fi theme. You got to pick that waiting theme at the beginning. Gives it 1 minute for people to get on. And it's got some really crazy ones. And the sci-fi one is really the only one that, I don't know, isn't kind of dumb looking. So I just kind of used that one. Other than the saddles, no issues. I could replace the screws, but $20 for roller saddles. Yeah, I mean, I don't know which bridge that one has. Is that a 6-screw tremolo on yours, Jerry, or is it the 2-post tremolo like this one? Let me get a closer view of this one. So is it the 2-screw one like this one? And it's a 2-point, so it must be really similar to what this one has. These are just, I think, what's called a steel stamped saddle. But I mean, the screws do stick out a little bit, but they're not sharp. I mean, I said that in the review. Usually when the screw, like this screw on the E is sticking out about a 32nd, usually it's sharp. But it's almost like they polished the ends of the screws off a little bit right here. And it's pretty smooth. So there's absolutely zero issue with the screw. I mean, the guitar plays nice. I know if I got the mic in the way. If I took this guitar downstairs and just tinkered with the nut, see, you know, I could even live with the first fretted note. It's so close. But the nut works so well as far as letting the strings move. But if I were going to do a complete setup on, I'd go ahead and I could get, you know, 4 or 5 cents out of each one of these to get this first fretted note extremely close and still get the tremolo to work well. If I did that, and then I would set the low E to like just a fraction under 0.07, and then set the high E to like 0.062, something like that, 0.06. That's about where I like it. I found with my playing style, like I like pinch harmonics and stuff like that. I find if I go lower than like 0.065 on the low E, and anything lower than like 0.55 on the high E, it seems like it chokes off the harmonics and you don't get the sustain. My PV's set up pretty low. It's about to that spec, but it's active electronics, not passive. So the active is pushing the note to the amp, so I don't pick up on it too much on that guitar. But with the passive ones, I like it up just a little bit. But I would do that to this guitar, and I'll be honest with you, I keep getting backwards here. I'm not a big fan of the bridge pickup on this guitar. It's a little ice picky for me. Maybe you guys can chime in on this. I want a guitar that, well, everyone wants the perfect guitar. But my goal in the 2 pickups are when I switch, let's say I switch from the bridge to the center, and maybe I'll go to bridge to neck. Yes, the tone should be different. That's why we're switching. The neck should be a fuller, more bodied sound. And the bridge should be more punchy, a little brighter, you know, more gain. With that being said, I don't want to have to switch down to the bridge and then roll the tone back, if that makes sense, because it's ice picky. I don't want to have to, you know, have my tone rolled back, and then when I flip up to the center position or the neck position, I got to reach down and then roll the tone back up because I've tone bled off the sweetness that you get, you know, with your dual pickups. With that being said, I don't think these 2 pickups work well together. Okay, like I said in the live stream, you could change the cap in this guitar, and you could get this bridge pickup less ice picky. You could probably get it really good sounding. The drawback to that is your tone cap on your potentiometer for your tone is going to affect the bridge as well. I would probably do that first. I would look at the value of that cap and maybe drop it and see what it does to the neck pickup. Maybe it would make it warmer. I mean, you never know until you try. And that's a cheap $3 modification. Maybe just change the cap and see if you can get that edge off the bridge pickup and still retain the nice warm sound of the neck. That might be all that it needs. If that doesn't work, maybe just change the bridge pickup in it. But right now, I think there's an issue with either the cap or this bridge pickup in relation to the neck pickup. They don't. If you watch the video, as soon as I go to the center position, the tone gets much fuller and it loses that ice picky sound, or 80% of it. You're still using that bridge, but when you go to the neck, it completely disappears. So I'm gonna say, also, if you look at the testing I did, the bridge was like 15.11 on the ohms, and the Henrys was really high. It was like 5.6 something. That's when the Henrys jump up like that, that usually means what they've done is they've put less winding on the pickup. Okay, they put really strong magnets in it to offset less wire. Copper's expensive, so less wires, stronger magnets. And usually that's a tattletale sign. When you see the ohms, up high like that, and then you check the Henrys and they're above 5, that's usually a sign that something's going on there. Like a JB will test out at like 12 on the ohms, 12.5, but the Henrys will only test at maybe 2.8, 2.7, anywhere between 2.5 and 3 max on a Seymour. But they're doing a lot of winds of that 40 gauge wire. So I think that's what they've done here. I think they've decreased the winds of the copper, and they put stronger magnets in it. And I think our testing kind of showed that. I don't know what you guys really think about that. I think Jerry had asked me once before about that, and I was having a squirrel moment, and I really couldn't explain what the Henrys does. But a higher reading on the Henrys gives you an idea that most likely what they've done is they haven't put as many winds on it, but to get the pickup to output, they've put stronger magnets on it. So you get a large magnetic field just like you would with lower intensity magnets with more winds. Okay, instead of using the winds, it's less winds with a more high intensity magnet, which creates a similar field, but your tone characteristics are a little different. Oh, Jerry says he Googled it. Is my explanation following Google? Because I don't want to be out in left field somewhere. But that would be my explanation on how to on what those readings are actually telling you. Time Surfing Alien says, sorry, I was getting the wife comfortable. That's after the live stream. That's when I make mine comfortable. Yeah, I should have typed in at the end of the video that I was gonna go live. And I sat and I thought about it, and I said, well, we can go live for a little bit. I'm sure, somebody will stay on YouTube and maybe see that it reposted. But YouTube is so bad as far as sending out notifications. I think it was Devastator said that he just got a notification for both back to back.
Jerry said he didn't get any notifications.
Yeah, Jerry, you said you didn't get any notification. But see, I put that up last night. So maybe, I don't know, Jerry, if you look back at your pull down window at the top on notifications, maybe it sent you a notification that it was going to premiere at 8 p.m. tomorrow night or the following day. I've yet to be able to get the live stream to work and have it, let's say, I'm going to go live at 7 p.m. and it's 5. Okay? For me to do that, I can't use OBS. As soon as I try to use OBS won't connect because YouTube is, I don't know what it's doing. I've searched it on YouTube for people doing OBS, and there's never like a clear how to make that work scenario. So what I think they're doing, I think they're going live, okay? And it sends out a notification, and then there's a 1 hour wait through OBS where you can have like a window pop up with a countdown. But then YouTube isn't going to know to send out notifications in 30 minutes. It thinks you're already live. It's receiving your stream. So I haven't quite figured that out yet. I'm still working on it. And I actually changed my mic setting. I went back and listened to my last live stream. And I added a piece of equipment in my last live stream. I added a DBX 286S, which is basically a channel strip. And I had the gain set way too high on the channel strip. Also had the limiter set too high on the channel strip. So I've made adjustments, and when I'm looking at it and I stop talking just like I did right now, the red light comes on that it's gating. But as soon as I speak, it's switching over to green. And I am getting one LED on the green on the input. And the compressor really doesn't cut on until I get loud. When I get loud like that, I get 1 to 2 lights on the compressor. Right now, I'm not getting 0 lights. Right now. Now. Just got a light. So I think the compressor's set a little better. I don't know if it sounds any better. I know my distance from the mic makes a big difference as well. So I need to be more conscious on that. I'm trying to be better, if that makes sense. Hey, Dean. Dean, you missed the premiere earlier. I don't know what time zone you're in, Dean. If that's not being too forward to ask, are you in California or you outside the United States? I don't know. I don't know if I've ever asked Dean where he's at. But yeah, so hopefully the compressor, the DBX channel strip is working a little better tonight. I do only have one camera working because this was just turn it on and let's go live right after the premiere. So don't have anything set up. The amp's not on. The other microphone isn't even set up for the guitar amp. So it's just a chat session tonight.
He's in Southern Ohio.
Southern Ohio. Yeah, you're same time zone that I'm in. Because I'm in Northern Virginia. Yeah. Okay, I was curious. So Dean, did you get a notification on the premiere video? Because we were just discussing it. It seems like not too many people actually got premiere. A notice of the premiere. You can move that light. I ran out of cord, and normally it's plugged into the bathroom. You want to plug it in the bathroom?
If you want to unplug it.
Hold on, guys. I'm going to switch the plug to the light.
Before I kill myself.
And it instantly got dark. Yeah. I'm going to move it like right there. Sorry, guys. I actually had the light in the hallway blocking the path into the restroom. So Linnell went by and she's like, I got to get through here. She's like trying to worm her way between the wall and the lamp. Well, there's a story behind that, Dean. Basically what happened, if you go back probably 6 months ago, there's a guitar that I reviewed that was extremely similar to this. It's called the FST, Firefly FST, and it's like a purple burst or blueberry burst or something. And it had a Floyd Rose bridge on it. I did that review, And during the review, just tightening the lock nut, one of the nuts stripped, the bridge would not stay in tune. As soon as you touched it, it would just go out of tune. There was some finish flaws in the guitar. And during the review, I just said that, trying to build a guitar like this with a Floyd Rose for $199, I hate to say it, guys, but it's pretty much impossible to expect a guitar company to build something like this with even a cheap Chinese copy Floyd Rose bridge and expect that it's going to be something that you can pull out of the box and just play. The guitar is downstairs, and it left such a bad taste in my mouth. I didn't get to this review, but I ordered both guitars at the same time. So this guitar has been here about 6 months, and Firefly on the Super Strat, the squared off, I call it the Ibanez style. About twice a year, Firefly will have this version of the FFST. And I think that's something Firefly needs to do. The FFST is several different models now. You've got this model, you got the Strat model. Now you've also got the EVH model with the bird peak. They really need to change the model name. Maybe just call it the Firefly S for just the standard Strat, and maybe the SS for Super Strat like this one, and an ESS for Eddie Super Strat for the pinstripe one with the bead. They need to do something, because they're making now like 3 or 4 different models of the FFST, and they're really different guitars, but they have the exact same name. When it's a Firefly FFST, I'm like, was it the Beakhead stock one? Is it the Super Strat one? Is it the Strat? With standard, 3 single coils? Or is it a humbucker single? Or is it the EVH? Or is it the Super Strat? They've actually made the Super Strat and a humbucker single. They did it once. That's it. Most of the time it's 2 humbuckers. So they really need to... They need to do that, and they need to change their information on these guitars. They don't give you anything. I mean, it helps channels like mine, because people go, well, maybe someone's bought this guitar and I can get on YouTube and figure out what the neck radius is, or what the scale length is, or, whatever, because they don't list it. There's just nothing on their site about it. Let me read the check here. Jerry's IMO, neck and body is worth the asking price.
In my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. On this particular guitar, the neck and body is worth it. If you buy a kit guitar from Leo James, it's $170 unfinished. And then you got to sand it, stain it, urethane it. Well, the finish on this guitar is beautiful. So even if you just look at it that way, you're buying a neck and a body for $229. And in this case, I wouldn't mess with the tremolo at all. At all, I wouldn't mess with this tremolo. If I was going to set this guitar to play out, this is all I would do to it. I'm big on a JB, guys. I think the JB pickup is one of the best pickups. Does it do everything great? No. But you can get a nice country tone out of it. You can get Southern rock out of it. You can get some 80s out of it. It does fall short on the telly twang. It's not that type of pickup. It does fall short on the more modern high gain stuff. But for a working class guitar, the JB is just a great pickup. The Seymour, not Seymour Duncan, the DiMarzio Super Distortion is another pickup. That pickup will clean up. You may not get really super cleans out of it, but you can get Southern rock tones out of it, hair metal, It may be even into the 90s grunge sound out of the Super Distortion. Put one of those on it, and if I really wanted to get crazy, I would change the tuning keys. And that's all I would do to it. And if you wanted to do a bang on the buck, I'd put those reveal pickups on it. I need to do the review on those. That'll be the second set of the reveal pickups on Amazon are like $70. And I'm going to call those poor man JBs. It's very similar to the JB and the SH4 neck pickup from Seymour Duncan. I mean, I almost hate to say it. If you blindfolded me and you didn't tell me which pickup was which, I would probably have a hard time telling. Yes, dear.
Make sure you check your chat. You got a couple questions.
Oh, a couple questions. She's telling me to check the chat. I got some questions. Before I forget, any experience with the PV112 Bravo 25 watt? I don't know that one. If you're gonna get one, you want the PV trans tube. It's got a little it's got a little triangle on it. And the reason I say the triangle, you hear me on my reviews say I'm using an inline tube preamp. Okay, it's made by AMR, Applied Media Research. Well, PV bought AMR. Okay, one of my AMRs is an AMR, Applied Media Research. The other one looks just like the other one, but it says PV AMR. Okay, so PV bought them. Well, PV took the trans tube technology and mixed it with the AMR technology from their boards and other things, and they just nailed it. Most people call them red stripe amps. It's got a red border around it, but you're looking for that little triangle. Those amps you can get cheap. I see them $100 on Reverb. I see them on Marketplace for $60-$70. That amp is a Roland killer. If you're used to the stereo chorus, they made a big one. They made a trans tube 212. If you can find one of those, oh my gosh, that is the Roland stereo chorus killer. That was probably the best trans tube AMR PV amp made, was the 212. Now it's a big amp. The other one, I think, is the Bandit. They made a red stripe AMR, and they may have made the Bravo. But you can't go wrong with it. It's solid state. It's not digital. So you don't get those digital artifacts that these digital amps had for many. I think they're getting better, but it's solid state. So you can think of it this way, okay? I've got a tube amp, and people go, well, I'm going to boost my tube amp with a distortion pedal. Well, you just said tube distortion's better. So why are you boosting it with a solid state distortion circuit going into your tube amp? It works. I've been running a hybrid amplifier that's partial solid state, partial tube for years, the ART. I'm just now getting into the Synergy rack. This was my first review tonight using the Synergy rack, and I already see that I need to make some changes. It's my first time recording the Synergy preamp, so I know where I need to make some changes to capture the tone a little better. But if you take a trans tube PV and you take, let me grab it. I'm going to show you guys something that if you find one, these things, they made 3 or 4 different versions of this. It does take an 18 volt power supply, but if you've seen these things are awesome. Hold on. Is that another question?
Yeah.
I'm still answering Jerry's.
Okay.
Let me finish answering Jerry's question on the PV. Here you go. Check this thing out, guys. If you've seen, look at the company name. Oh, I'll get it backwards. It's made by Seymour Duncan. Okay, this was the stupid one, the twin tube mayhem. Okay, there are two tubes in this thing. Okay, they made just a rock version and a southern rock version of this, and you can find them on Reverb. Sometimes they go for stupid money. This was the first tube amp in a box. This come out. I'm going to say 18 years ago, maybe 20 years ago. Take something like this and put it in front of that PV, and you can, any tone that you can imagine. You want the warm, sweet tube sound? There you go. That circuit in that PV with the trans tube is transparent. You can roll the gain back and pull the volume. It is 100% transparent. You're going to hear the tone of this. At the same token, you can put a TS9 in front of it and just gain the piss out of that PV. But you can also mix it. Take the trans tube. That's what was so famous. It's trans tube. It's a tube circuit, but they take the tube out and put a MOSFET in. But it is a tube laid out circuit. You can take your boost pedal and run it in with a little bit of boost and then boost the back end of the solid state PV, and they sound phenomenal. When I find one, I'm probably going to get one, but I've been looking for a PV Classic 50 410. Now I will take a PV Classic single 15. But they're really hard to find. It was called a Blues something Classic 50. It's just got one 15-inch. What most people did is they bought the stereo or the Classic 50 410, and they bought the 15-inch tweed extension cabinet. So you had 4 10s and a 15. That amplifier, guys, if you're playing blues and southern rock, it just has a sound. I'm a PV fan, everybody knows it. So any one of those, even the little Classic 30, that's a great sounding amp. I see those on Reverb, $300 if you get the black one. If you get the tweed one, they go for more. I missed one on Marketplace for $200. It was a PV Classic 30 in black for $199. And I should have bought it because that's a great little amp. It's a single 12. Great little amp. Let me go back. She says I'm missing all kinds of questions.
Just missing one. It says, do you use or have any Jacksons and any thoughts on the JS series?
Who posted the Jackson comment?
I think what's his name? Raj Dan? He's from the Caribbean.
Okay, yes, thoughts on the Jackson. 1 second. Here we go.
Right.
One Jackson JS, brand new.
Bryce and Jerry White are both on.
And for everybody that just joined, I can't remember what buttons it are. I have buttons, so I want to push buttons. This is for everybody, so no one gets jealous. Okay. This is a killer freaking guitar. I got this. It was on sale for $265. It's a 7-string Jackson offset V 7-string. And you know what I really like about it? It's a offset V without the beak headstock. Look at this headstock. It doesn't have the typical beak Jackson V headstock. I think that's cool looking. I think this guitar normally is like $330, $340. For that kind of money, this thing, the action, I mean the strings, they're on the dirt, as they say. This thing is probably set on the low E, 0.06, and probably 0.05 on the high E. And it does not buzz. It is stupid low action on this guitar. Now with the JS, you do get a, if you guys can see the joint in the neck. Now some people don't like that. I'm telling you right now, with the joint back here, where this one's at, you're not going to have a problem with that. When they start moving up and the radius is in this part of the neck, I have seen them pop. But this is a very strong joint. I program CNC machines. I do woodworking. I'm gluing up teak and oak and maple, and I'm gluing up stuff every day of my life and programming. This type of joint, if they get good coverage and it's clamped and the humidity and the wood is kiln properly, this joint will not fail. The neck will crack and split in a completely different location. That is the strongest point in this neck because you have two different cross grains of wood laminated together. It's extremely strong. My thoughts on the JS. I haven't done a review on this guitar yet, but I'll tell you that highly impressive. What we were just talking about, we did a premiere earlier, and the weak part of that guitar is the pickups. Same is true here. Are the pickups awful? No, they're not horrible. I will say they're a little on the muddy side, and you see that. They're either going to be ice picky, like the one that we just reviewed tonight. We just reviewed this guitar tonight. You can go back and watch that video, guys. I actually did my first death metal tone in a review, and Jerry can comment whether or not I nailed the death metal sound or a twin rectifier death metal sound. I tried to get that tone. I don't know how close I got to a death metal rectifier tone, but I tried to get that out of my rack system. I think I got pretty close. So that's really what this guitar was designed to do. It's designed for that really high gain, and it does get a little muddy with high gain. Jerry, got a 5-piece bird's eye maple neck from the Avies. No issues, but needs frets. Yeah. The only issue that, as a woodworker, okay, I'm going to tell you something. Bird's eye maple really, technically, is not a stable wood. It's very much like burl. Burl is not stable. It's a growth. It's a tumor that the tree had. It's a disease. And the tree gets, the growth rings get all screwed up, and it's trying to fight off this disease, and it creates these voids and pockets and rot in the tree. And it just so happens that it makes for beautiful wood, but it's not stable. That's why when you see burl, it's usually a laminate or a veneer, maybe a 16th or an 8th. It needs to be applied to a solid substrate to stabilize it. Now, I've seen bird's eye maple necks, and I know they've done it, but bird's eye maple, every one of those little spots is something in the tree, okay? And the growth ring, all these little individual, the way the growth ring goes around the bird's eye, it creates a non-even hardness in the wood. Each one of those little eyes is harder than the other spot. It's very much like yellow pine. Yellow pine, the darker part of the grain is very hard and the other part's very soft. So it's hard and then it goes real soft. Then it's hard and then real soft. Yellow pine is considered a hardwood, granted, but the white inner between the grain is extremely soft. So it compresses strangely. When you take yellow pine and you compress it, the softer parts of the end grain will compress and the brown doesn't. So I usually try to stay away from bird's eye maple necks just because my little squirrel brain here knows that it's just not, for the most part, a stable wood. It's used in veneers and laminates because of that reason. Not saying that these companies haven't figured out how to dry kill it. I would say most likely what they're doing is they're roasting it. So before you dry kiln it, and it still has a little bit of the sap before it gets dry, if you oven roast it, the sap turns to almost like a glue, and it gets hard in the pores of the wood. That's why roasting the neck makes the neck so stable, because it's almost like injecting epoxy into the neck. That roasting heats up that sap and it hardens in the wood and makes it very strong and very stable. So I'm going to say they're probably roasting that bird's eye maple to make it more stable. I could be wrong, but as a woodworker, that's just how I see it. But yeah, this is an awesome guitar. I don't play it much because it's a 7-string, and it takes me about 15 minutes to get used to the extra string. But once I get used to it and my little squirrel brain figures out that I'm playing a 7-string, I'm okay. The drawback is when I go to pick up my 6-string, it takes me about 15 minutes to get back into the 6-string gear. So that's just me. If you have it and you played it every day, back and forth, you probably wouldn't have that issue. This is my first 7-string that I've ever owned.
Dean says, Firefly says they will have a new flying V end of the month. Radical paint job and tremolo on the picture.
They've got a really nice V on there right now with the cheaper Floyd Rose bridge. Now, keep in mind, guys, these guitar companies like Steve Brown Sound, Firefly, when you see the Floyd Rose bridge, and it's got the little screen printed, says Floyd Rose on it, that is the cheaper than the special bridge. I've only seen one, and it was the first version of that Firefly put on the FFMN, and they had issues with the bridge plates on that particular one. They have since changed the tooling, and now it says Floyd Rose. So I need to get my hands on this new budget one and see how hard the base plates and stuff are. But these companies are using that. So don't think you're not getting a Floyd Rose special. You're getting an even cheaper bridge than the special. So I really need to order a guitar with it. I have one guitar with a special, 3 guitars with the Floyd Rose 1000, which is the hardened steel but made in Korea bridge. And then I have a couple guitars with Floyd Rose German bridges. And then two or three with the Schaller German bridges as well. So I need to sit down and actually do a comparison on them. But when you see Firefly and it shows the Floyd Rose, that is the very cheap one. Let me hang this one back up. If anyone has any experience with the new Floyd Rose bridge, I'm curious if you have the new cheaper Floyd Rose bridge, what have you seen? What's the difference between that bridge and the special? Is it the saddles? I had heard that it's a cheaper pot metal saddle, even more so than the special. And the problems the special has is the lock screw that goes through the bridge that locks in the nut. That part of the saddle is really soft. So when you try to over tighten the locking block to the strings, sometimes they strip. So if they made that even softer, I don't see how that's gonna hold up, because I hear constantly that the saddles strip out, tightening the block. I can't see how they could make that any cheaper. And the special already has a problem with that screw as well, because the screw comes through and the fine tuner hits it. If you look at the specials, turn that screw. You'll see them wobble. The fine tuner is pushing on that, and then there's a compression spring underneath. So it's pushing up. Well, the compression spring's here and the fine tuner's here. So it ends up bending that screw because the screw isn't made of, well, a quality metal. So they start getting an ellipse when you turn them. I don't know if you guys have seen. Yeah, Jupe says he's got one stripped on the high E. Is that a Floyd Rose special, Jupe? Because that's what I've been hearing on the specials, that they have problems with the saddles. And then time surfing ailing. My EPI has a rosewood fretboard. Yeah, I have no issues whatsoever. I've got the EPI Alex license, and the rosewood they're using at Epiphone's fine. I have absolutely zero issues with it. And Jupe says yes, it's a Floyd Rose special. And then Jerry White, you can't even change the strings one time. All the screws strip and the is that the cheap Floyd Rose or the Floyd Rose special, Jerry? I mean, I can see it. I can't see how they could make it any cheaper because it's already soft pot metal. Time Surfing Alien says, I put Grover tuners, Music Lily pickups, new saddles, bridge, 500K pots, added coil splits, and a 3-way blade switch. Well, you got that thing hooked up, man. I like Grover tuners. I mean, everyone kind of frowns on them nowadays because they're not dressy, but why change something that works? They've been making the Grovers since the early 80s, just the standard Grover tuner. They work. They don't slip. They're smooth. Why change it? You know, that tooling's been around for 20 years. Why invest thousands of dollars in new tooling when you have a tuner that works? It's proven, it works, sell it. Make it, sell it. And then Jerry, yet they are putting them on $800 guitars. Yeah, that's the issue. I bought a Schecter, a Sun Valley Super Shutter. You can watch the review on the channel. And yeah, it come with a Floyd Rose special. And the model year that I bought, the very next model year, they had got so much slack for on a $1,000 guitar putting a Floyd Rose special on it. They went to the Floyd Rose 1000, which is fine. They didn't even up the price. Mine should have come with the 1000, not the special. My issue with the Schecter that I bought, when I took the neck off the guitar, they split the neck. They cracked the neck because they didn't drill out the neck for the neck screws. The screws were too big for their pre-drill, and they split the darn neck. Some of my reviews, okay, I take the necks off the guitar. The review I just did, my goal was to do a review most people could watch. Sometimes my reviews get so technical, some people just, and they click out. So I didn't want to get into looking at the wires on how well it was soldered, pulling the pickups out, checking the routes, you know, pulling the neck off the guitar. So I figured I'll do another review, okay, and I'll take the strings, because these are cheap strings. My fingers turn black playing this thing. Take the string, it needs new strings anyway. Take the strings off the guitar, do the next review, we'll call it the geeky review, and see how well all that stuff was done. I didn't do it on this review. I'm really trying to find a sweet spot to where the techie people will like it, and then the people that just want the basics will also like it and kind of hang in there. I don't know if there is a sweet spot for that. I probably shouldn't worry about it, and I should just continue doing what I do. But I am trying to cater to more people, if that makes sense. But I don't want to be a channel that bypasses things. Like in the premiere, you know, I made some comments on like the ice picky pickups and stuff like that. The reason I didn't say too much about it, I figured we would go back into more detail on the next review and get more, you know, to the point on certain things. I don't know. You know, I think the demo section on how many different ways I played the guitar and the different sounds that I got, I think if you actually listen from the clean to the medium distortion, a little heavier distortion, and then the death metal tones, I think you can pick up that the bridge pickup is very bright and very ice picky. I think you can pick up on that in that video. So I didn't feel the need to go back and do it. I did plan on saying in the review at the end, when you pull the push tone, that the volume really drops. When you split the coil, it's unusable. You can't be on stage and at volume and pull the coil top and play. You're going to lose so much volume, you're going to get lost in the mix. I meant to bring that up in final thoughts. I forgot, and when I was watching the review to review my editing after it was processed, I said, oh man, I forgot that. But it takes 7 hours to process the video through my editor. So I'm like, okay, do I take 10 minutes and re-record this and another 30 minutes to re-edit it and then another 8 hours for the editor to reprocess it so I can load it to YouTube, which takes an hour, which would have thrown it off, at least 2 days. I just left it be. That was my mistake. Jerry's, Jupe says his is a special. It's a special, all right. Yeah, it's a special. Jerry says, I replaced almost all the screws and I've never even put the whammy bar on it. The blades were wearing down. The base plates on those things are really, really soft metal. I tell people, if you're going to use a special and you're going to use it, count on cleaning the knife edges every year, And then I would say after you clean them probably 2 or 3 times, we don't have the tooling. Just doing my little trick with the drill bit like I've shown in my videos, you're going to be so far out of spec after cleaning them 2 or 3 times that it's not going to function properly anyway. I did do a list for Jerry on one of the live streams, and I put a post up for it. You can get the Floyd Rose FR1000 base plate on Amazon for like $69. It's still Korean made, but it is hard metal. So you can switch to that and then put the cast stainless steel saddles and trim screws sections in it. You can use the stock Floyd Rose bar. So you're looking at $50 for the saddles and like $70 for the bridge plate. And then just transfer your brass block, your spacer, your spring, your tremolo bar. And you can get away with about $120, $130. But you can build the super Floyd Rose tremolo really only using a Floyd Rose base plate and the posts for $250. And it'll be far superior even over the German bridge. I did that. I don't know where I posted it now, if it was on the video or I did it in the community page. It might have been on the community page where I posted the link for all those parts. But all in all, I think this guitar, if you put pickups in it, I think the guitar needs pickups. This might be a keeper for me. I usually try to sell off my guitars after I review them to fund the next project. So if someone wants this guitar, normally what I do, I don't know if Devastator's still in the group or not. What I normally do is, if someone's interested in it, I do a complete setup on the guitar. On this one, that would include recutting the nut and getting the first fretted note right. And, going through, I would polish the frets on it because the frets aren't as polished as my last Firefly, but they are level. The frets are really good. They only had one fret that was a little out. So I can clean up that one fret, polish the frets, do a complete setup on it if someone wants it. And then sometimes people go, well, will you change the pickups? So then we'll just go ahead and change the pickups for them. But if someone wants it, that'll free up some cash so the channel can buy another guitar. I've been looking on Amazon, and there's an e-art that I'm thinking about getting. That's why I posted a poll on the premiere video, and it was I think the last time I checked it was 50-50. So people wanted like budget or the name brand. So it just seemed like they wanted budget friendly guitar reviews, and I think we've got at least 3 of those coming up. I definitely want to review a higher end guitar. I'm going to do one more. I'm probably going to do the Squire next, the Nashville Telly. And then I may do a higher end guitar, let's say between $700 and $1,000 guitar. Then hop back over. That's why I posted the poll. I wanted to see what y'all thought. Yeah, and Devastator can tell you, he's got my the purple Strat that I did a review on. I did a complete setup and did some videos on the work that I did for that guitar. So if someone wants this one, just hit me up and we'll work something out. And then of course we'll do the videos on fixing the guitar up, doing the fret work, pickups, whatever, pure tone jack, whatever we do to the guitar. We'll do some videos on it. I look at it this way: it supports the channel. And then you're getting a Firefly that has been gone through, that is 100% spot on. You don't have to do it. Just pull it out of the box, plug it in, and jam. So it's a win-win for everybody. So let me see what other comments I missed. I really need to figure out how to get my chat window a little bigger, because I don't really see where it's telling me people that are online. It's not really telling me too much here. And it says 10 to 7. I really need to get that switched over.
I've got 11.
Yeah, mine's switching. YouTube I don't think is really set up for OBS. Or my little squirrel brain doesn't have it set up. It's probably me not having it set up right. But tomorrow night, guys, what's going to be tomorrow night's topic? Since this is just a bonus thing, we've already done our the actual video for tonight. What are some of the topics you guys want to touch on tomorrow night? Jerry's hell on that phone, man. You mean, Jerry, you haven't hit the button to send it to your TV yet? I'm pretty sure, didn't you say that you were sending your phone stuff to your TV? Oh my gosh, is that what you want to talk about, Jerry?
Hookers and cocaine.
Hookers and cocaine. Oh my gosh. Well, I do live next to DC, so we could go down and hit V Street. Oh, yeah, Linnell says we're not that far from Baltimore either. It's got pretty big red light district in Baltimore.
Yeah, you go down in the hood, you can get anything. They'll walk up to your car.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Jerry, that is rock and roll. I mean, I know I'm getting older, but things have changed so much. Really, it was changing when our band was actually getting bigger. When we were a smaller band and we would go out to these venues, there was a place in the city called Blackie's. And Blackie's, it was a twin bar. The best way I can explain it was 2 bars. It was a country side, then over here was the rock side. And then in between the two, you had another bar where they had pool tables, darts, all kinds of stuff. Well, let's say the country side held, I don't know, 700 people. I'm guessing. It may have been more. It was at least 700 people. And the rock and roll side would hold just as many. And the bar in the center, well, that a lot of people would be, maybe 100 people, 200 people on that. Because they had 15 pool tables and just, I don't know, 20, 30 dart boards. It was a crazy, crazy bar. I remember going there and watching bands, and it was just crazy. And
I'm not going to say there was no holds bar, but there was plenty of women running around without tops. We'll just say that, because it ended up on the stage. You know, and I remember sitting there, and for a first band, I'm like, boy, I can't wait to get up on stage, and they start doing that for me. Well, by the time I got up on stage, that didn't seem to be a thing anymore. So, I don't know. I kind of missed out on that whole genre. I think that was early '80s, mid '80s, and I really wasn't hitting the bars until about '90, is when the band actually started hitting the bar scene. As far as bigger bars. Yeah, that's probably what they were saying. Look at this guy. We're not going to throw anything up on the stage for this guy.
No, read Devastator's comment.
I got to read Devastator. Guitars, they give the reach arounds when touched the right way. Oh my gosh. You guys are crazy. My little community has less than 1,000. Town is only 10K. Well, the town that I live in, I'm going to say I haven't looked at it lately. I'm going to say it's probably between 35 and 40,000 in the town that I'm living in. It's grown quite a bit in the last 10 years. It's still, in this area, that's considered a small town. Once you hit Route 66 and you head towards the city, once you hit Manassas, you don't ever leave town. You go from Manassas to Centerville to Fairfax to Falls Church, right into DC, and you have no idea you even left the town. It is just so overgrown. You leave one town and enter another town and don't even realize that you left the town, because it's just all grown together. It's basically 35 miles straight in, 35, 40 miles of just city, just in one direction. And it's just around. I can't fathom. I'm going to say Manassas probably has, the city of Manassas, it's split. See, there's Manassas Park, Manassas. There's like 6 different cities there. If you just figure Manassas, I'm going to say it's probably 50, 60,000 in Manassas, maybe more, because most people consider Manassas Park part of Manassas, and I would say Manassas Park is even larger than Manassas, and that used to be a sublying area of Manassas, but now it's, like I say, it's just one big city. See, there is no country per se anymore really around me. Even when you get out in the country, you're looking at maybe 2.5 acre lots, and that's it. Now, farms now are down to maybe 30, 40 acre farms. There are no large farms. There are no large parcels. It's all been subdivided and broken up. I'm missing everything. A little community, yep. Look at this guy, Devastator, built on that. Yeah, tops and hips, almost 1 million and growing daily. Yeah, I'm kind of used to it. I've worked in the Washington, D.C. Metroplex pretty much my whole life. Well, my whole life. So basically 34 years of working in the tri-state metropolitan area. It has gotten better as far as commuting. We went from 2 lanes to basically 5 lanes one way. There's a lot more traffic, but the roads have gotten larger to kind of sustain that. But it still takes me, if I'm going into DC from here, even though it's basically, we're going to say 25 miles of 2 lane, the rest is all 4 to 6 lane all the way in. It would still take me in rush hour traffic, hour and a half, 2 hours to get into Washington, D.C., and it's only 50 miles away. If that's probably 45 miles. So the traffic is just awful. Just awful. In 95 going down towards into Richmond, I don't know how familiar you are with this area. That direction's bad. And then 95 going up towards Baltimore, of course, is bad. There's just nowhere else for it to go, if that makes sense. And we've got this real stupid law here: no building can be taller than the one building in Washington, D.C. So they can't build any, there's no more land to develop, and they can only build so high. So they're going to have to change that. I guess it's the Washington Monument. No one can build a building taller than the Washington Monument. And that restricts building height. Well, since there's no land left, what are they going to do? The only way to go is up. And that's how come you don't see skyscrapers in Washington, D.C. It's not like New York. They can't do that here. There's laws against it because of the Washington Monument. So I don't know. It's kind of, this is a strange area that I live in. And I don't even know how we got on this topic to start with, to be honest with you. Anyway, I wanted to get back what you guys want to kind of go over tomorrow night. I need some time to prep for the show. If there's a certain direction that we want to go on tomorrow night's live stream. If you guys have any suggestions. And I haven't heard anybody say anything about the mic, whether it's over too much gain on the microphone or if it sounds like I'm in a bean can. This will be my second live stream with the 286S DBX channel strip. And I'm trying to take out some of the background noise from the very first shows. And last week's show, I noticed that the gain was a little high on it. So I made some adjustments trying to make it a little better. Jerry, you've brought up the Dragon Fire before. I may have to order a set of those. Just for what's a set of Dragon Fire humbuckers running, Jerry? Or are you talking about just buying a single pickup? I mean, some of these pickup companies like EMG, you buy the set, you get the potentiometers, you get the jack, you get the caps. I don't know, does that company offer like a turnkey drop-in? Here's two pickups, the selector switch, the volume, the tone, the jack. How do they actually operate? And in Devastators, we could discuss different aftermarket pickups, active versus passive. Yeah, we can do that. I can prep out for that. Everybody knows that I played active pickups. Actually, most of my life, I played EMG 89s, which is the split jazz pickup that EMG had. They still make it. I'm a big fan of the EMG 89. It's probably my favorite EMG. It's got a lot of bite, but it's also a really warm pickup. So I like active pickups. My second favorite pickup, of course, is the Seymour Duncan JB. I'm a big fan of the JB. I can't say that enough. I mean, I know we're always trying to find something new. And the only pickup that I can think of, and granted, I understand these are expensive pickups, that I think kind of crosses the new sound would be Fishman. And I think the Fishman, with how you can change the tone, I think that kind of opens up a little bit. But they're $300 for a set of pickups. That's pretty salty. Time Surfing Alien has never played an active set of pickups. I can't believe that. So don't go out and just play it once. It's like anything else. Okay, remember what I always say. A lot of your tone comes from your amp. Okay, so don't take a passive guitar. Let's say you've got your amp at home, okay? And you've got that amp sounding great with your passive pickups. Don't turn around and take an active guitar and just plug it right into the amp and expect the world. Active pickups act differently. They the way they respond is different. So to get your sound, you may have to do a little bit of tweaking, but you're going to notice that you're going to get a little bit more sustain out of them, and you're usually a little bit more bitey. But I think the sustain is the thing most people see with actives. You get more sustain. And Jerry says the only actives I ever played were in a Jackson, and a lot of tone shaping for sure. Did you notice any sustain difference? That's the thing. That's the big thing that I see is sustain. How well they sustain. Yeah, EMG's got a bunch of little extra things that you can get. They have a bleed that you can put in it, a boost circuit, and then they actually have what they call a blend knob. And I've been wanting to try this. So instead of having a selector switch, okay, where, okay, you've got your bridge pickup and you're in the bridge, okay, then you go to your center, okay, and then go here. Well, let's pretend that this is the blend knob. Well, all the way this way is this pickup. And as you turn this knob, you start introducing this pickup. Once you hit 50%, then you start removing this pickup and you get more of this pickup. So all the way this way would be all the neck. All the way this way is just the bridge. And you blend between the two. The only issue I would see with that is on stage, being able to reach down and just turn that knob to 50%. I don't know if there's a little, sometimes these potentiometers will have a notch. It's like if it had a notch at 50%, where you'd roll it and you could feel the little notch, oh, I'm at 50%. So it's like, I think that would be cool. If it didn't have the notch, I think it would be kind of hard. But in a recording scenario where you're trying to search for this particular sound, being able to blend between the pickups, I think would be awesome. I think that would open up a whole world of tone. Yeah, the mid boost, EMG's got a bunch of different ones. Believe it or not, if you type in EMG bass configurations, they've got all kinds of different boosts, blends, EQs, where they've got instead of having a tone, it's called an EQ. It's got two, and you got basically works like the 362 BBE. It sonically maximizes a certain band on the low and the high on the bass. So they make that with you get that with a blend knob on EMGs on a bass. I've got a bass with EMGs on it, but it does not have the active EQ. It has the blend, and it also has a selector. I've never really used the blend on it, but I do like the EMGs in the bass. I saw those and ran across a mod that uses an 8-pole selector switch with various caps to change. Yeah, I almost did a video on that where you had a dial knob, and as you changed it, it changed the value of the cap on the your tone potentiometer. And I ended up just getting buried. I ended up ordering, I think, 6 different tone caps, and I was going to put them all in there and do a video on it, but I never ended up doing it. I think that would be a cool mod. I think it would be cool to sit and do like a tone knob right here, okay? Do a cutout just so you could reach your hand in there and click, 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 and you could change it. But yet, when you got it on your stomach, you can't hit that knob. But if you wanted to go somewhere, you go, oh, well, I want a little darker sound tonight. Because sometimes you get to the bar and the front side, the front of house system's a little bright. And they're like, oh, you're too bright, you're too bright. Well, instead of messing with your amp settings and all that, you could go right in here and click. and change your capacitor cap and take some of the high end off without going into your factory presets on your amp or anything. I think that would be a really cool thing. Like I said, recess it in here to where you can't bump it and knock it out during the night. And let the sound guy say, hey, you know, your tone's a little bright. Oh, okay, flip the guitar over, give it one click. Hey, what do you think now? Oh, a little, you know, give it another click. You go over to this bar, and the guy's, oh, you're too dark. Click, click, click. You click it up a little bit, change the cap, you know, and it's going to work the same on both pickups. And you're not messing around with your factory presets. You're not going in and changing the tone or this or that. You know, the signal to front of house stays the same as far as your rig is concerned. You're just changing how that tone cap is working in the guitar. I think that would be a cool. I've never done it. I was going to do it. I just never done it. But I think it, unless I'm thinking of it wrong, I think that would really work well in that scenario. Time surfing ailing. I thought about using a potentiometer as a blend. You can do the exact same thing with it. You know, like I was just saying, you can use a blend knob instead of the selector. You know, there's no reason why you couldn't do that. No reason at all. Like I said, the only downside to it would be unless you had a notch at zero, at dead center of the potentiometer, where it's a mix of exactly both pickups, you'd be on stage, and if you wanted to go to the center position, you'd reach down and you would have to guess about where 50% is. In my line of thinking, it's about repeatability. So I always want to know where I'm at. So if it had a little notch at 50%, you could roll down, click. Okay, I know I'm basically in the center position. That's all I think that would work better if it had a notch in the center position. I'm getting caught up here. I'm way behind on the chat. Well, since tonight's a bonus, I'm going to leave you guys for a couple of minutes because I actually never had a restroom break from the premiere video to the live stream. So let me take a 5-minute restroom break and I'll get caught up on the chat and you guys come up with the next topic. And I'll take a 5-minute restroom break. I'll be right back. Okay, back. This is something I wanted to talk to you guys about. This week, I had one of those weeks on YouTube this week. You know, I probably shouldn't do it, but I'm always looking at subscriber count. Okay, so at the beginning of this week, I was at 1,925 at the very, well, actually, at first, I think it was Sunday. It was Sunday or Saturday. By, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday, I was down to 1,918. It was so funny. You know, each day, it seemed like I lost a subscriber, lost a subscriber, lost a subscriber. And I sit and I look at it and I'm like, what am I doing? And I always have to remember there are 50,000 different channels. Everyone's into something completely different. It takes a little while for the people that are like-minded, that like the same thing, to find your channel and really immerse themselves in it. And then when I looked at it today, I was right back up at where I was the week prior. And it seems like you get these weeks where you just get like, I'll get 50 extra subs in a week. And then it won't do anything. It'll just kind of level off and YouTube isn't pushing it. And then I can actually see like my old videos will get a spike. It's like YouTube all of a sudden decided to push some of my older content out. So I always have to remember that as long as I'm doing what I think is interesting and I think I'm doing a service, you know, to my subscribers, that's all I need to do. But I'll be honest, guys, when I see that drop like that, there's a side of me that says, what am I doing wrong? You know, and each time I always try to learn something. And I did that with this review. I was like, you know what I've never done? I've never done a super saturated, you know, modern metal distortion tone on any review. Maybe I should try that. Maybe there's a group of people out there that have watched my review that just don't really play cleans. They don't play 80s. They don't play the 90s. They're into this more modern tone. So I threw that in the mix just to kind of see over the next 2 or 3 months the reaction that part of the video gets. Just to see, you know, to cover that base, if that makes sense. I don't know. I was thinking I'd try it. I want to try to do a review that isn't just getting on here throwing some notes together and doing blistering fast leads and saying, oh, it's great. I want to still give the detailed analysis, but also give a decent demo to where if someone's playing just clean tones, they can watch the review and go, hey, it sounds pretty good clean. Or someone that's doing the early 80s sounds or the 90s or the new 2010 grunge death metal tone. So I tried to do that this time, you know, something different, and we'll see how people react to it. Better to get galloping. Yeah, you know, when I started the channel, I had a GoPro 8, and that was it. All my very first reviews is done on one camera. And you can go back and watch them. I've left everything, even bad product, you know, I've left them up. And I go back and I watch them and I go, okay, well, I've made these improvements and I've learned these things. And it keeps me realizing why I think YouTube does the way it does with new channels. People talk about YouTube blocking new channels, it's blocking new channel growth. It's blocking new channel growth. Is it really blocking new channel growth, or is it letting you grow, and YouTube is looking at how the channel's growing and how your production has gotten better, how your audio has gotten better. All these little things. Maybe this AI system kind of looks at the review and go, okay, this guy's doing X, so let's push it out to these people, and let's push it out, maybe in 6 months where you got this worked out, and then, okay, we're going to introduce him to a little bit more people. Instead of just throwing you out to the sharks on your fifth video, and you're recording it on a cell phone, people are like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. Yeah, I think a lot of it is that. They're almost grooming you, okay, to do better quality production work. And then when you get to that point, then YouTube kind of pushes the channel out. So I'm kind of hoping that that's what it's doing, and I've gotten to the point now where the audience will expand a little bit. Maybe YouTube feels, hopefully, that I've gotten a little better, and I try to get a little better with each possible time I go back. I can't stress it enough. I go back and rewatch every live. I go back and look. I read every comment in every video. I try to respond to every comment in every video. I really do try to do that. If you're going to take the time and leave me a comment, I kind of feel like I need to take the time and at least respond back to you. That's just how I feel about it. And I've always tried to do that. Sometimes I'll get on, it's like, I didn't even know this guy, left a comment. Because sometimes YouTube won't tell me. There's a comment section, and I'll be like, well, I didn't see anything in there. And I'll go back and watch a video. It's like, well, I didn't respond to this, but I'll go back and look. Well, I never got a notification saying this person, posted something on this video. So I really do try to go back, and I keep that comment page open, and I try to respond to every little comment. And then through the week, I try to always put something up in the community page so you guys can read, say, hey, I'm still here. Haven't done anything for 3 or 4 days, but it's here. I'm working on this. Yeah, that way it gives you guys the heads up. So I've been trying to get better at that. Yeah, I mean, I was watching. I think everybody knows. I watch Philip Ignite on Fridays. I really do. I met Phil in person at Sweetwater during Gear Exchange like 2 years ago. He's such a down-to-earth person. He really is. I like watching his content. I think he does a good job, and he's in a position like me. Most guitar companies, he has a lot of subscribers, so he can get away with what he does. But for the most part, guitar companies don't want channels like mine reviewing guitars because we go over everything. They're looking for more demo type channels. That's why I depend on buying the guitar and then reselling the guitar, because I have to purchase everything that's reviewed on this channel. This channel has been approached by 3 different companies. Gunther Hardware, Gukyer, I think is the pronunciation of it. I didn't do anything with them for one reason. They pretty much said, look, we're going to send you a set of tuners, and it was like $300 worth of stuff. Tuners, a bridge, a bunch of other stuff. But it's our video. We can use it any way we see fit, on any format we see fit, for any type of advertising we see fit. And I sent a note back. I said, well, if I do a video, okay, it is my property. And if you want to use that video, you need to ask my permission to post it here and post it there and post it. I am doing this video for these components. You're going to give me these components, and I will do a video on this bridge. Okay, but I don't want any restrictions. Don't say I can't talk about the finish. Don't say I can't talk about the saddles. Don't say I can't, it's whatever I want to say, and whatever I think about the product, I get to keep the product. And they were like, nope. So a couple months went by, and they sent me another notification. It was someone different in the company. Hey, I've watched your channel. You know, we got some new products coming up. Are you interested? And of course, I was like, yeah, I'm interested. Clicked the link, looked at the products, sent an email to them. Yeah, I'd be interested in this. Then they sent me the thing saying, we reserve the right to use your video. And I sent them right back. I'm like, guys, it's my product. You know, this is the deal. If you want to, that's why I don't do it. It's a rat race, and they're always wanting to skew. From what I've seen, I've only talked to 3 manufacturers. They're wanting you to have what's called taglines, where you have to say, "Oh, you think it's fantastic," or "Gunther is the next, you know, goth." There's always something they want you to say to enlighten their product, if that makes sense. I call them taglines, where they want you to say something a certain way about the product. Gunther was bad for that. And it's funny, every time I get an email, well, the twice that I got them from Gunther, about 3 weeks later, I see all these YouTube channels with parts from Gunther. Oh, I just decided to get these Gunther parts, and you can reach it. And I'm like, okay. Well, they asked me if I had any projects going on that I could use their hardware. And I knew right away, well, they had contacted them, and you might see their video on the Gunther website. And they have no rights to their own work. I just didn't agree with that. The other company that reached out to me, believe it or not, was Joyo. And I had already done some Joyo work. And I had just gotten the Lancelot pedal from Joyo. And Joyo reached out to me and said, we want you to review it. It was like a cordless guitar thing, a wireless guitar thing. And I looked at it on Amazon, it was like $40. And I sent a thing back saying, I'm not really interested in reviewing a $40 wireless, but I would be interested in reviewing some of your pedals or maybe one of the little mini amps. And I got an email back, and the guy was really polite. He goes, well, those aren't products that we have any allocation for advertising budget on. Those band amps have been out for about a year, and we're not really pushing them right now, and we don't have any new pedals. And I'm like, okay. So I sent him an email back saying, well, in the future, you know, I would be interested in, I think the guys that watch my channel would be interested in pedals or one of your small amplifiers, or if you've got like a small cabinet for like an FRF, you know, cabinet for like a line 6, something like that. 100% up on reviewing that. And the guy sent me an email back saying, okay, we'll keep you in the rotation for up and coming products. And I have not heard back from them. And the third company, who was that? It was another hardware company selling bridges and stuff like that, but I don't remember who it was. And I didn't respond to them because when I looked at their products, it was one of those products I had no interest in. I could tell it was cheap stuff. It was Amazon. It was a clone stuff, and I had no interest in working with them whatsoever. So this channel does everything out of pocket, and it looks like it'll continue that way until I probably hit, being the types of reviews and what I do, I'm going to say I'm going to have to hit at least 5,000 or 6,000 subscribers before these companies are going to send me anything to review that I don't have to sign my rights away on, or I don't have to speak in the language they want me to speak at. And I say this because I want you guys to know that's how it works. Don't let channels sit here and tell you that it doesn't work that way. It does work that way. I'm telling you that it works that way. These channels cannot make a living on YouTube. So they're getting kickbacks from Amazon or the manufacturer itself. And like I said, Gunther pretty much told me, we reserve the right to use your video anywhere. They could have put it in Japan. They could put it on their website. You know, they could recycle that And I just don't have any interest in doing that. I saw, and guys, I am not speaking bad about any other channel. I'm just telling you this is how it works. This is the interaction you get. And I've spoke to other people with channels. You got to hit about 1,000. Once you hit 1,000 subscriptions, you will get people reaching out to you. If you're in that area, I would suggest don't. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. The next thing I suggest a small channel to do when you hit 1,000 and you're able to monetize, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Do not monetize your channel at 1,000. Because if you go back and you look at my channel, at 1,000, my channel growth was doing this. Okay? As soon as I monetized, it'll kill your channel. I've spoke to a couple different channels, and they seem to think, based on their experiences, 5,000. You get 5,000 subs, you've got enough of a market base where they're going to sit through those commercials, and you're going to still do okay as far as subscribers. You're not going to make any money on YouTube. Monetizing your channel at 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 is not gonna. It's gonna buy you McDonald's 4 times a month. That's what it's gonna buy you. My channel, I get quite a few views, and I see $40 a month, and I've got a lot of videos. And we're not talking about 15-minute chat videos. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that, but I have probably 70 tutorial and solid guitar review videos. I just now started doing what I call blanketed YouTube content, which is this. And we're just us talking about YouTube, talking about guitars, talking about this, talking about that. I call it just content. Okay? Don't have that much on my channel. So even with that being said, when people see these commercials in your thing and you don't have it, they click out. You know, they just have no interest in it. You've got to really get your subscriber count up to where you can weather that storm. It was a mistake I made, and I'm seriously thinking about demonetizing my channel just for that reason. I don't know what that would do. Some people say that if you do it, it really kills your channel. Just don't do it to start with. So I'm letting everybody know that that's how YouTube works. With that being said, that's why I brought up when I purchase products, I have to recoup my money. Okay, the review we watched tonight took 1 hour and 20 minutes. That's an 1 hour and 20-minute guitar review. I am going to say it took me 2 weeks working on that video. At least 40 hours of editing, and at least 5 hours of video. Okay? Not including the amount of time that after I edited it, I went back and watched it after I run it through VSD to make sure the product was good. My last review video, there was all kinds of errors because I rushed it. I wanted to get it out. So I thought it was okay. I went right from VSD right to YouTube, and there was sync errors, there was black spots. And I said, I'm not going to do that to my subscribers. I owe them a decent quality video. So when it was done processing, I loaded it back on my computer and watched it just as a video, okay, to actually see what you guys were going to see. Once I verified the video was okay, I wasn't overly happy with some of the tones in the demo section, but I'm okay with it. I knew that it was a decent video. I loaded it up to YouTube, and then you guys get it. If you figure the amount of time that it took me to do that, over the next year, I hope that video will get 6,000, 7,000 views. But even at that point, I'm making $1 an hour. That's what I'm going to make. I'll make if I make $1 an hour after that thing's posted for a year. So there's no way you can do it. There's just no way. You can't quantify the loss. That's why, like Devastator, he's in the group. He purchased one of the guitars that I had done for a review. I sold it to him basically at cost, and I worked for free to set the guitar up just to recoup the money back to buy the next product for review. So that's how the channel has to work. I want to be 100% open and honest. Like Jerry made a comment earlier, that's why we watch your reviews. It's a no BS review. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not friends with Firefly. I'm not friends with Leo James. I'm not friends with Schecter. I'm sure Schecter was really pissed off when I took the neck off that guitar, $1,000 guitar, and said, look, this is what $1,000 buys you. It buys you a cracked neck. And I'm sure the Schecter flags are like, well, we're never sending that dude a guitar. It's not honest, okay? If I pull the neck off the guitar, I see it's cracked, and I don't point it out to you. That's not cool. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to say, hey, look, I paid $1,000 for this thing, and look, the neck's freaking cracked. Does that mean that yours is going to be cracked? Maybe, maybe not. But it is telling me that this is a production guitar. It's not on a CNC. It's a line work. Whoever pre-drilled the neck, the pre-drill bit was too small, and when they put the screw in, it cracked the neck. If it did it to my guitar, there's going to be another one out there, because they're not changing bits on every guitar. They've got an air drill set up at that table, at that workbench, and they're pre-drilling that neck. Or the CNC is pre-drilling it. And the ATC, the automatic tool changer, is pulling this tool for that process. That means every neck is going to be drilled exactly the same. You got 50-50 shot. Did it crack your neck? Did it not crack your neck? Will it crack in 5 years? So I pointed it out. We did a Peavey Raptor review. I'm sure Peavey's never going to send me a guitar. I pulled the neck off that guitar, and there were 6 holes in the neck. And they misdrilled the body. There were 6 holes in the body or something. Something weird. I think they oblonged the holes in the body, and they had 6 holes in the neck. I'm like, come on, I get it. It's a $250 Peavey Raptor. But don't misdrill my neck. And what's funny is that guitar played great. Go back and watch that review. The guitar sounds awesome. But I would never keep that guitar because of the issue with the neck. How many people are going to buy that guitar and pull the neck off of it and say, hey, I bought a guitar that was just manufactured poorly? How many people are going to do that? 1 out of 20, 1 out of 50? I thought it was my job. Look, this is how this guitar was made. And you know it's made on a CNC. So if mine was like that, other ones were like that too. We've uncovered all kinds of things. And that's why I always say, if we're waiting for this channel to receive products from these manufacturers, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I watch YouTube just like you guys. And being on the inside, I see content on other channels. And I know where they're coming from. I know why they do it. I can't do that to you guys. If this channel stays at 2,000 subs, then we'll stay at 2,000 subs. But my reviews and my content's going to be based on honesty. I'm a musician. I work hard for my money. Excuse my French, I'll be damned if I'm going to go out and spend $1,000 on my hard-earned money and get a guitar with a cracked neck. I'm not going to do it. I called Sweetwater. Hey, I got an issue here. And Sweetwater took care of it. I will say that. Sweetwater did step up and send me parts. It wasn't just the neck. All the plastics on the guitar worked. The pickguard worked. The back plates worked. And this was before I knew the neck was cracked. Called Sweetwater. Sweetwater's called Schecter Research. Schecter Research sends the parts right to my house. 2 days later, I pull the neck off the guitar and realize the neck's cracked. I'm like, do I call Sweetwater back? I'm like, no. I took the neck downstairs. I re-drilled the neck. I separated the crack in the neck. I put a 2-part CA epoxy glue in it, clamped it, sprayed catalyst on it, and it sat in the vise for 24 hours. Then I took the neck out of the clamps. I pre-drilled it again to make sure none of the glue worked into the hole, and bolted the guitar. I mean, a solid repair. I did a solid repair on the guitar, and then I ended up selling it. But that's just how I view the channel. I hope you guys can understand that. And I see people are typing in. I need to get to the chat here. Ted Talks Guitars joined the group. Hey guys, just checking in after a birthday party. Was it your birthday? Whose birthday party? Well, Jerry, you're saying that at least I'm not biased. All right, here's something else. I'm technically, Jerry, you're correct. I'm not biased. But in the same token, I am biased. We're all biased. Okay, we're all biased because we have a certain view of looking at things. We have certain likes, certain dislikes. And as much as we may not want to admit it, that makes us biased.
It's Ted's birthday.
Oh, it's Ted's birthday. Oh, okay. Well, hold on, Ted. Here's your birthday celebration. Hopefully it worked. I don't have my headphones on, so hopefully that worked.
He said it's the big 60.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know, when you hit that one, you got to sell all your guitars, Ted. Just, I'll send you an email with my address. You can just send them this direction. I'm just saying, I swear, when I turn that, I'll do the exact same thing. I swear. But I think we're all kind of biased in a certain way. I try to be biased in a proper way. I try to be biased based on my experience with woodworking and based on my experience I've had as a musician. I try to mix the two, and I try to make it entertaining, but yet I try to give you all the information you need to look at these guitars, like giving you the Henrys on the guitar or the ohms. Ohms alone really doesn't tell you anything. I see these channels, oh, it's a 16K pickup. I'm like, okay, what's that mean? There's a whole nother part of that story. And the Henrys give you a little bit more. But that still doesn't. You can look at 2 pickups that test it, let's say 15 ohms and 5 Henrys. And those 2 pickups can be completely different animals. But you'll start to notice a trend. That's why I said earlier, when you see a high ohms count and you see that Henrys jump up above 5, anything above 5 on 20H is pretty much, I'm not going to say it's 100% guaranteed, but there's a good chance that they've cheaped up on the copper, they've put less winds on it, and they've put really heavy magnets on it to create that field. You can still get a 9 ohm pickup, 10 ohm pickup, and still have the Henrys up at 4.5, 5. Then it's really questionable. I found a warm pickup. If you're around 12, 10, well, we'll just say between 10 and 13K, okay? And you can get your Henrys down to 2.5, somewhere in that ballpark. That's going to be a really warm sounding pickup. And if you can get 9K and be around 2 on the Henrys, that's going to be a really sweet sound. It's not going to push your amp. Don't get me wrong. It's not going to be a high gain pickup, but it's going to have a really nice, mellow, warm sound. That's just what I've found. When you start getting into 8K and you're at maybe 3.5, 4 on your Henrys, it's going to be ice picky sounding, a little choppy sounding, a little bright. That's just kind of what I've found after testing guitars and working on guitars all this time. That's why I try to put that information in there. And TED Talks Tone, Guitars in Life, I have heard that some channels not only get the product but money for doing the reviews. They do. I wouldn't. If you plan on doing it for a living, set a precedence from the beginning. I'll qualify it that way. I don't plan on doing this for a living. Because once you do it for a living, you're going to become dependent on that. Okay? So it's almost like becoming a politician. You're not going to, well, there's a certain man that just got in office that doesn't seem to really care about that. Because he's going to speak his mind, he don't care. And that's why a lot of people like him. But let's be honest, that has not been the case in most political circles. Okay? YouTube's going to work the same way. If you get in there and you start crossing what other channels say or what this person says or starts doing things the company doesn't want you, one, they're not going to reach out to you, okay? And since you're making a living and you're depending on that income, that's going to really restrict what you're going to say because you want that company to come back. You need to make money. This is your living, if that makes sense. I'm not saying I would never do that, but always keep in mind, it is going to add, like Jerry was saying, it's going to add a bias to, you may not even say you're being biased, but like I just said, everyone is biased. It's how you apply that bias, through our rose-colored glasses on how we talk to our subscribers. I view it as doing a disservice to your subscribers. Now, there are channels out there that have gimmicks and stuff like that, and I think the subscribers are fine with it, if that makes sense. One, they either know it and don't care, or they're naive. Either way, I think those channels have set a precedent. That's how they do it. That's how it works for them. I am just speaking about this guy right here. I can't do that. And I have lost work in the city. I've had lumber companies come up to me and ask for X on a CNC machine, and they want to be at this price point. And they say, well, what do we have to do to be at this price point? Can we cheapen this product? And I'm like, yes, you can cheapen the product, but I'm giving you X warranty, okay? I'm not going to warranty this product. They say, okay, well, you don't understand. I'm not going to warranty the product because I'm not going to make the product. I don't want any part of this product. There's other companies, if you want that at that price point to do X, go elsewhere. And I've lost work on it. And should you do that or should you not do that? There's a side of me that says, it doesn't matter, they're paying you to do X, you do what they say. I don't know what the answer is to that, guys. I'm just kind of off in la land when it comes to this. Who wasn't on?
Jerry.
Avery. Okay, can you explain the difference between Alnicos, say 2 and versus 5? It's different grades of magnets, okay? Let's not, remember guys, there's only like, just be honest, there's only like maybe 3 different forms of pickups. Okay, we can change magnets, we can change the bobbin, we can change the wire. So when you change magnets, whether it's ceramic, Alnico, 2, 5, whatever it is, different magnets will do different things. Each magnet will require a different amount of windings to do X. Well, not only can you change the magnets, Alnico, ceramic, you can change the magnet underneath. Is it a paper separation? Does the magnet touch the pole pieces? Does the magnet sit on either side of the pole pieces like a P90? Is it overwound? Is it underwound? Is it overwound with weaker magnetized Alnico 5s? Or is it did they put it in the machine and just magnetize the piss out of these Alnico 5s and underwind it? Saying a Nico 5 or a Nico 2, I know it sounds complicated, guys, but the end result is about the same, whether you use a really strong magnet and less wire or a weaker magnet with more wire. You're still creating that field. The field does change the tone. I'm not saying it doesn't. But don't get caught up in this field. What I tried to explain to you, whether it's an EQ2, a 5, a ceramic, if you go and you look at the ohms and you look at the Henrys, test every guitar you have that you like. I like the tone of this guitar. I like the tone of this guitar. I like the tone of I don't like the tone of this guitar. I don't like, and start testing them, each one. And you're going to start developing a pattern. Oh, I like this ohm and this Henry rating, whether it's an Alnico 5 or even a ceramic. Okay? There's nothing, everyone talks bad about ceramic pickups. I like ceramic pickups. I've got ceramic pickups that I love the sound of. It's a different sound. It's not necessarily a bad sound. I'm not saying all ceramic pickups are great, because there's some pretty poopy ones out there. But there's some pretty poopy Alnico 5 pickups too. No one talks about, it's Alnico 5. Well, I can point out a couple poopy Alnico 5 pickups. Just look at your ohms, look at your Henrys, and then don't discard ceramic. Don't discard Alnico 2 or 5, whatever it is. Test them, listen to them. The more you play around, now granted, I've reviewed a lot of guitars, so that gives me a step up. I've kind of seen what the cheaper wound pickups with the Seymour Duncans, DiMarzio, EMGs. I kind of get a reference on what they sounded like versus the readings, because I've been doing it so long. But until you do that, it's kind of like throwing a dart. I hate to say that, but don't get so caught up where I got to have this pickup. That's why I always say I like JBs. I can measure one JB and it might come in at 10, okay, and 2.3 Henrys. Might measure another one, it might come in at 9.5 at 2 Henrys, okay. But I know that pickup I like that pickup. They've been building that pickup for 30 years. I don't need to reinvent the wheel. I know that pickup works for me. Just like I know the EMG 89 works for me. When you get that and you've figured out what you like, then you can move on. And I say this because if you listen, I say this for one reason, guys. And a lot of people get pissed off when I say this. 90% of your sound is your amp. If you give me a choice between a $5,000 Gibson, okay, and a $1,000 amp, okay, or you give me $5,000 for the amplifier and $1,000 on the guitar, I'm going with the cheap guitar and the nice amp. Or even, let's just say, a $500 guitar and a $1,000 amp. Reverse those. You can take that cheaper guitar and you can plug it into a nice amp, do a little EQ on it. The guitar's going to be okay. But if you take that beautiful guitar with the world's best pickups on it and you plug it into a little Gorilla amplifier or a cheap amplifier, it's still going to sound like a Gorilla amplifier. It's if that makes sense. It's just how I feel. And I feel that way because I've had a bunch of different amps. And I hear what the amps do to an amplifier. I can take my nice, Fender FMT amp guitar. It's got pearly gates on it. Beautiful sounding guitar. I plugged that thing into, it was called a silver something. It was a Black Star. It was a solid state modeling amp. Plug it into that amp, and it just kind of sounded, average. Kind of, sounded good, I guess. I plug it into the Egnator. Oh my gosh, the world, the heavens open, as they say. It's just so warm sounding, so nice sounding, so it's just alive, okay? Why? It's the amplifier, okay? We can do all this that we want with the pickup, and it's going to make 10% change. Well, you can make a 50% change in your amplifier versus your pickup. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I truly believe your amplifier should be the number one thing you should work on. Get yourself an amp, whether it's a Vox, a Marshall, an Egnator, a Sedano, a Fender, Black Star, even though I have had zero luck with Black Star. I take that back. I got a Black Star in the basement, a little $100 Black Star. It's been bulletproof, a little Core 10 stereo. I use it on my bench testing guitars. Love that little amp. But the more expensive Black Stars I haven't had good luck with. Buy yourself a nice amp, and believe it or not, your lesser expensive guitars will sound so much better through that nicer amplifier. Put your money in your amplifier, put your money in some nice effects before buying a $2,000 or even a $1,500 guitar. You're not gonna, if you take your $500 or your $400 guitar and you plug it into your average amp, you're gonna hear very little difference between that guitar and, let's say, a $1,500 Epiphone or a $1,500 LTD. It's just not going to be that much. But if I take that other $1,000, instead of buying a $500 amp, and I buy a $1,500 amp, I'm gonna see 100% better tone and playability in that amplifier versus the guitar. That's just my thoughts on it. And I don't mean to be, I see someone typed in Gorilla. Not picking on Gorilla amps, but they were, unless they made a model I'm unaware of, I don't think there was ever a Gorilla amp that ever sounded good. I could be wrong about that, but I just remember them being this little tiny amplifier, and even the clean sounded horrible on them. That's what I remember. That's why I keep picking on Gorilla. And I see Jackie's joined the group. I didn't know Jackie was in the group. Of course, I've been just yakking and yakking and yakking. Jackie said he picked up his first PRS today. Holy mackerel. Hold on, guys. That is a guitar. There's two guitars I want. I want a PRS, and I want the new Sire 7 or L7V, the P91. I want those two. But yeah, every Paul Reed Smith I've picked up at the store has just been a great playing guitar. There's something about the fretwork on them, even the SE models, even their import. The necks just feel, I can't explain it. They've got a nice broken in. I like a broken in field neck. I like the smoothness. I like the rolled edges on the neck. The way the back of the neck feels, the broken in feel, where it doesn't feel sticky like a new guitar. It just feels like it's been played and worked in. PRS has that feel right out of the box. It just feels smooth, feels nice against your hands. You don't feel the grit of the grain of the fingerboard. You don't have the grit on the frets. I have yet to pick up a Paul Reed Smith that I wasn't impressed over. Whether it was even their new, I went to a Guitar Center and picked up one of their $500, the new satin ones. Even that one played really nice for $500. It was $499 at Guitar Center, brand new. The only difference I saw between that and the $800 one was it was satin. I'm sure maybe it's got cheaper pickups or something in it, but it played fine, sounded fine to me. I didn't hear anything wrong with it.
Ted has to go.
Oh, Ted's got to go. All right, see you, Ted. If I missed any of your comments, man, I'm sorry. I've just been rambling. I was going to get back up and chat and see what I saw that you put in a couple messages, but I appreciate you coming in, man. So what's everyone's thought on the concept of the amp versus guitars? I'm like I said, I'm a firm believer that the amp is a better investment than the actual guitar. And believe me, guys, I have some, well, I won't say expensive guitars. I do have some nicer guitars. I don't have any really super expensive guitars. I think my most expensive guitar is probably $1,500 guitar, something like that. Yeah, man. Hey, Ted, are you doing a live stream on Tuesday night? If you are, put a plug in the bottom. Ted usually does his live streams on Tuesday nights. Sometimes he surprises us and throws in an extra live stream or video through the week. If you're not familiar with his channel, go check it out. Yeah, Jerry agrees with me. Jerry White and Jerry Dover. I'm a firm believer in the amp. And I didn't really realize this until I started reviewing budget guitars. And I started picking up on, wow, these budget guitars really aren't that bad, you know. And I had some comments, people, where you're playing it through this amplifier. And I'm like, And then I'd plug it into a different amp, a cheaper amp. I'm like, yeah, I do. I'm kind of hearing the cheap pickup tone now. But when you put it into a nice amplifier that warms it up, 80% of that really disappears. It really does. Maybe more. It just disappears. You know, Jackie, it's funny you say that. I was just saying, I'm thinking about buying my Katana back. I had a Katana 50, and that was the amp that I grabbed when I went on vacations, or I used to go to Ohio a lot to program CNC machines, and I always take that amp. I could play it in the hotel room. It was a light amp, small. Loved that little amp. And I would sometimes just play it here if I didn't want to really do too much. I just plug into the little Katana, and I thought it was a nice little amp for what it is. It's a $300 amp. For a $300 practice little amp, I'm really seriously thinking about buying another one, just for that reason. I think there's something to be said just for something that I can grab, throw in the back of the truck, and not be overly concerned with it. And I think the Katana is a little better than the Catalyst as far as tone and sound. And now they've got the Gen 3 out that you can go in with your phone and change your effects on the fly. The one I had was a Gen 2 and you couldn't. You had to plug it into the computer. And that was the only thing I disliked about it. On trips and vacations, you were kind of stuck. You didn't have a knob for every setting on the delay. You didn't have a knob for every setting in the reverb. But the new one, with the Bluetooth, I can just Bluetooth it right to my phone. I always have my phone. I can make changes on the fly. So the one problem I disliked about it, they seem to have fixed on the Gen 3. So I've been looking at them. I almost felt like calling Sweetwater, because right here, you can't really see it, I got a PV Penta cabinet. And I don't have a head for that cabinet. So I was thinking about maybe getting the Katana artist head for it, or just the regular Katana 100 head, because it's, I think, 150, 1 watt. And then I was like, well, that kind of defeats the purpose, because I just want to kind of grab it, throw it in the truck, and go on trips. So I would still need a speaker. So that puts me back to the Katana 50. I don't know. I think that's one of the better budget amps. That and Short Bus just bought a New X. It's a little tiny amp. And that little amp's pretty impressive too, for what it is. I'm qualifying that. For what it is It's quite impressive. Devastator says he loves the versatility of the Katana 100. Now, Devastator, does the Katana 100 have a power switch? Can you go from 100 watts to like 50 watts to 20 watts? Is that switchable? And Jerry, oh, it is switchable. Cool. Jerry, Dover. I'm assuming you're talking about why my rack is sometimes cutting out. It's not completely cutting out, it's losing volume. And I haven't figured it out yet. I'm pretty sure it's the caps. My ART part of the system is very old. I probably bought that in 91. And it's never been recapped. It has had a new tube put in it probably 15 years ago. So it could be the 12AX7. I need to take the tube out and have it tested. But that was the main reason in me buying the Synergy SYN2 with the Friedman and the Sedano. I knew it was time for me to upgrade my rack. And my goal is to take the Synergy SYN2 with I'll probably get either the Engel or the Ferret rack mount 6L6 power amp, new power amp. And now, with that being said, I'll need a multi-effects processor. And I haven't really landed on anything yet. So I think what I'm going to be buying next is probably going to be either a power amp or a new multi-effects processor. I'll probably end up getting a new multi-effects processor and eliminating the ART. And see if the problem goes away. I'm pretty sure it's in the ART that's causing the issue. Axe Effects just come out with a new one. It's not rack mountable, but it's just effects without the modeling or the gain stage or the preamp section. If that was rack mountable, I probably would have already ordered one. I'm really not thinking of any company right now that's making a nice rack mount multi-effects processor with a gate. Probably Eventide probably makes one, maybe TC Electronics. Just not knowing anything. I may end up going and getting a Digitech Blue Monster, or I might I have a Digitech Studio 200. I got an extra one here. I might take one of the Digitech Studio 200s and tie that in with my Synergy, and then still use my BBE directly into my Pro Valve and see what kind of sounds I can get out of that. Maybe do that for maybe a month or so and see if I can make that work. But no, I have not figured out the issue yet. Yeah. So you're thinking that's the issue? I'm thinking it's the ART. There's a couple things the ART Applied Research Technology did on the SGX 2000 to save money. If you look at the videos on the right hand side of the unit, there's two sliders. It does not have potentiometers. And ART had a lot of problems with their sliders. They would it works like a controller, okay, as the slider goes across, and they would burn out and cause issues and get dirty. So I'm thinking it's probably in the sliders or, like I said, the caps. I would like to find someone that is super talented that could work on it. But being that the one that I have is so rare, it's been modified to use two 12AX7s. It's not a stock single 12AX7. I would have to send it to somebody that I knew was extremely qualified at circuit tracing and circuit modifying to work on it. Now, I just don't know if it's worth fixing, if that makes sense, since the technology on the unit is so old. It still does work. So the point of it working, it still does work. I can still get the sound out of it. I think I'm just trying to, for what I'm doing now with the synergy and everything else, I think I'm just pushing the unit past its ability, if that makes sense. You know, everything has a point where it's only this good. And it doesn't matter what you stack on top of it that's better. It's only as good as the weakest link, if that makes any sense. And at its age, I'm going to say that that's the weak link in my rack and probably needs to be swapped out. And Jerry, again, he has a lunchbox head along with lines and rotted Dirty Shirley. May have to go ahead and pick it up. The Dirty Shirley, I saw one of those at Washington Music Center. Those things are ridiculously expensive new. They had one on the floor. I want to say that thing was $3,000. It was either $2,500 or $3,000 for that amplifier, and I was like, wow, that's expensive for that amplifier. I don't know if that's the same. Pretty sure it was $2,500 or $3,000. There was a couple different. They had a twin sister, too. I think the cheapest one they had was $23.99. Combo unit, and then they had one that was like $34.99 combo. I don't know the difference between all those versions. The twin sister, the Dirty Shirley. I don't know what all the different ones are. I didn't even plug into them because an amplifier like that at that price point's past my ability, if that makes sense. There's too many other things that I want to tweak and do before investing that money there. I think the Engel power amplifier on Sweetwater. Actually, why don't we check that out real quick? Let me type in Sweetwater here, and I'll show you all Sweetwater music if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it real quick, guys. Engel. It's not an amp. It's just a yep, here it is. Now let me go back to my OBS and I'll try to do display capture. Let me minimize this. So here's the Engel rack mount power amplifier. And I believe this would be a good replacement for my BK Butler Pro Valve. It's the same wattage. I'm not sure the tubes in this one. It's got 12AX7. It's at E84. Yep. Nope. 6L6s. So yes, this would be a solid replacement since I'm using 6L6s now. I'm not understanding on these new power amps, they have a 12AX7 preamp tube in a power amp. If someone can understand that circuit technology and why you would have a 12AX7 in a power amplifier, I'm not really understanding that design. Because my amplifier that I have now does not have any 12AX7s in it. It is just 4 6L6s. So I'm looking at this one. I think that would be a good replacement. And I don't know, I don't think they carry ferrite. I'm not too sure if they carry the ferrite or not. Let me go back to this camera. There we go. And now I got to reopen my chat window since I closed it. There we go. So what do you guys think of that Engel power amp? That's on the pricey side, I get it. But even the Ferret, I think is at $1,500. The cheapest one is the Synergy, 5050. And I'm pretty sure that's a single U rack, not a 2U. But I don't think I want to go with the Synergy. I think I would either go with the Ferret or the Engel. I don't know. Let me check one other spot here. Let me check one more thing. Oh, I didn't want to go to that window. MA plus. I'm going to go to reverb. Let me see if I can find VHD. That's the 2505. That's not the one I'm looking for. Hold on for a second, guys. If I can find the one I'm looking for. There's one on eBay. Let me show you guys this one. This isn't technically the one that I would want, but I could definitely use this one. If you could see, it's a VHT. This is before VHT went to China, when they were still handmade. So this is a 252. So it's a twin 50 watt stereo. So I could make that work as well. But that's $2,000. That's even more than the Engel. So that kind of throws it out of the price point for a power amplifier. You guys have any suggestions? I am all ears on a good power amplifier. Yeah, they definitely sound good on paper, Devastator. I think I talked about this. I wanted to. I think if I called Washington Music Center, okay, and told them, I said, look, I want to bring my Synergy rack mount unit, and I just detune my rack. Take my Synergy rack mount unit, my 362, and my AMR, okay, and maybe a Digitech Studio 200 down, and just say, look, I'm bringing this gear down. I want to plug it into one of these power amps, and I want to see what I can get out of it. I think that would be the only music store anywhere near me that would allow me to do that. I guarantee you, if I called Sweetwater and told them I was coming up there, they would set up a sound room for me. That's how good Sweetwater is. If I said, look, I'm bringing this stuff up, I want the Synergy power amp, the Engel power amp, and they got one other power amp. I want these 3 power amps so I could test them. They would give me one of their sound rooms for as long as I needed it with my equipment, and I could go in there and just plug and unplug and plug until I figured out which one I wanted. The drawback is, for me, Sweetwater's about an 11-hour drive. So it would definitely have to be a vacation trip. But I know Sweetwater would have no issues with it. I might, when I get some funds freed up, I may end up doing that. And what's funny, I don't know if you guys heard, Kiesel has got a special going on tomorrow. If you're thinking about buying a Kiesel, I hate to say it, guys, probably now is the time to buy a Kiesel. Kiesel is pretty much going to do the Aries model at cost. And they're not going to do very many of them. I think if you're on the East Coast, it'll go live at 3. You can use their builder. That guitar starts at $13.99. Okay? For a custom-built, USA custom-built guitar for $1,399. And even the base model is nice. I mean, ebony fretboard, great tuners, great bridge, great pickups. Just a stupid good guitar. The one I priced out earlier this evening was, how much was it? $1,650?
I think so.
$1,650. I got every option I wanted. I got the highlighted headstock logo. I changed the dots on the fingerboard. Floyd Rose tremolo, blacked out hardware, roasted maple neck. $1,650 with my custom color in a translucent orange where you could see the ash body through the translucent orange. Awesome. Now she liked the green, wasn't it?
Yeah.
She liked
I like the orange too.
She liked the green, the orange too, but she liked the green. They had a translucent green. Same price. Now, if you get the metallic finish, it's $100 more. But the guitar that I priced for $1,650, I got custom pickups, a German Floyd Rose, good tuners, an ebony fingerboard, 24 frets. I mean, that was with the roasted maple neck and the thin profile neck. Because you got the thick, standard, and thin. So I went with the thin. So there were some upcharges in there. So basically $250 in upcharges. I mean, come on. That's $1,650 for a handmade, custom, USA made instrument. I don't know what you guys think, but can I afford it? I think the builder said I would have to give them $340 down to reserve the guitar. So I think they said they were going to try to have them out in 8 to 10 weeks, which is a extremely fast turnaround for a custom-made instrument. So that gives me 2 months to save up $1,300. I mean, it's doable. I could do it. I could do it. I do want a Kiesel. And what sucks is I kind of want a neck through body guitar, and they are not running the 10th anniversary discount on the neck through. I was going to call them tomorrow because they're going to be open because it's 10th year anniversary, and I was going to say, is there a discount on the neck through? But the neck through is like $500 more on the neck through body. So an Aries neck through with those specs would end up being $2,150. That's just, I don't think that's something that, even though that's a stupid deal, it's normally a $3,000 guitar, I would say. That's a stupid deal if they would do it, just price jumping what the Aries neck through and the Aries bolt on the builder. I don't know. But a bolt on Aries with roasted maple neck, Floyd Rose tremolo, and all those for $1,650, that's a stupid good deal. In a translucent finish. You guys might want to go to the Kiesel site. It's a little funny. You got to make sure that you click on the Aries and you get the 10th anniversary special. If it doesn't come up like $13.99 to starting price, you're on the wrong guitar. The first 2 times I tried, it was coming up $16.99. I'm like, well, this isn't a discount. And the last time I went, it actually come up where I could get the promotion on the 10th anniversary. So you might want to look into that. If you're in the market for a handcrafted USA made guitar, that's going to be the cheapest custom USA made quality guitar you're going to buy, period. The stock guitar is like $13.99, and there's nothing wrong with the stock guitar with I'm not going to say no options because it already has options. It already has the really nice bridge. Hip shot bridge comes stock. Comes with the nice tuners. ebony fingerboard, beryllium pickups. I mean, 24 fret. Oh, yeah, and I added stainless steel frets on mine for 1650. So you could probably just do the standard guitar with a Floyd, and you'd probably be at like $1,500. Just the standard 10th anniversary, no options, which, like I said, still has options, still a nice guitar. Just add the Floyd. And it comes stock with the ebony fingerboard. So these are all upgrades for any other model. This stuff would all be considered upgrades. So even the bass, the cheapest stage one version they have, is still an upgrade, if that makes sense. I don't know if you guys are into the Kiesel, but if you're thinking about getting one, I would be, if you're on the East Coast, it says 12 noon. I would say you better hit the buy button in the first 10 minutes. Because I guarantee you, they're not going to do more than, if they did 100, it would blow my mind. Because they're in business to make money. They can't sit and make 5,000 guitars at cost. You know, a lot of companies like Gibson, it's our 25th anniversary guitar. And look at the wild creation we made. And they charge you more. Well, if it's a 25th anniversary, I saw this on YouTube. You know, I think Philip McKnight was talking about it. It makes perfect sense. You're doing a 25th anniversary and you're going to charge the customer more. How is that thanking the customer? I got to agree with him on that. Kiesel's going, hey, we want to thank you guys for making Kiesel. Okay? We're going to offer this guitar at cost, our cost, to you, limited run, saying thanks. And if you ever thought about buying a Kiesel and you just didn't want to, you're on the fence about it, this might be the time to get a Kiesel cheap to see if you like Kiesel. You know, I guarantee you could buy that Kiesel and you could resell it at that because you're getting it at such a good deal. You're getting it at cost, basically. So if you guys are interested, I would go to the builder tonight while you're off and goof off. And like I said, it is the Aries model. Remember, we're trying to do it on a budget. Only change the things in the builder that you feel that you need to change. If I was looking at it, the only thing, if I didn't want a Floyd Rose, I would take the stock guitar. I'd put the roasted maple neck on it. That's an upcharge, okay? I would upcharge to the jumbo nickel frets, not stainless, just nickel. There's nothing wrong with nickel frets. I've got guitars that are 30 years old with nickel frets on them. Still fine. Nothing wrong with nickel frets. Black out the hardware, which is no charge. Put a translucent finish on it. My color, no charge. I mean, you're probably going to be at $1,450, $1,500. And it's a hell of an instrument. Ebony fingerboard, jumbo, you know, whatever. That's all I would do to it. And if you want the Floyd Rose, like I said, I decked one out. Changed the Kiesel logo, because the one that looked the coolest, I did one in black. And do the black, you got to do the white Kiesel. Well, I did the reverse knockout, where it's just the white behind the black and the Kiesel was in black. So all you see is the back outline. That looks sharp with the black hardware and the beryllium pickups. And it was the same price. It didn't change the price. Well, it did go up $20 because it was $20 more for the reverse knockout logo. But it was just under $1,700 for that one. Beautiful freaking guitar, all black. Black body, black hardware, black pickups. Even the inlay dots I switched to black. Black epoxy. It looks sharp. I don't know. I don't think I'll do it just because there's other things that I want to do. And I'll probably kick myself in 6 months because I'm thinking about buying a higher end guitar. And basically at that price, it's $150 more than I paid for my Epiphone Alex license model. And that's made in China. You got to look at it that way. I paid $1,250 for my Epiphone, made in China. This made in the United States. So $300 more for a USA made custom instrument. It's I don't know. The more I talk about it, I'm talking myself into it, and I really shouldn't buy it because I got other priorities right now. But if you're in the market for one, you should go get it, and I'll live vicariously through you. And I tell you what, you order it, send it to me, I'll review it, and I'll send it right to you. That's what we can do. That's how we can make this work. Yeah, Gibson's 3 to 5K. You're right, Jerry. That's crazy money. It's crazy money for a Gibson. I mean, I would do the Kiesel all day long over that. I really would. And the Aries is a good model. I like the Aries model. You know, I think it's a sharp looking guitar. It's a Strat body style, and this is the new cut that they've done on the back of the neck with the better access. So it's going to be a sharp guitar, and very easy to access the higher frets on that guitar. So I don't know. Yeah, you'll never see Avery Warrior guitar again. Exactly. Exactly. I wouldn't do that to you guys. But if someone gets one, I would almost pay you $100 to send it to me so I could review it. then I would be kicking myself that I didn't get one. I don't know. And just
yourself anyway.
yeah, I'm probably gonna, like she said, I'm probably gonna kick myself anyway. I might end the live stream and go out here and get back on the builder. But at like $1,650, I did quite a few options on it. The way I'm looking at it, I would definitely, I think if you stripped it down, the three things that I personally would want on the Kiesel, I would want the roasted neck. I want the larger frets. It was cheaper to go to the nickel jumbo frets versus the stainless steel. I don't know. I think I would just go with nickel. I would do the nickel jumbo frets and then put a Floyd Rose on it. The color, you've got a bunch of different translucent colors that are all no charge. And just pay attention in the builder. If there's a charge for it, don't click on it. You know, upcharge, roasted maple neck, okay? Floyd Rose tremolo, and jumbo frets. And if I wanted to get squirrely, I might go to the thinner profile neck, which I think was only like $20. Pay attention to the upcharges, and don't get stupid with it. Remember, you're buying this if you do it because it's going to be at a lower cost where we can afford a Kiesel. So keep that in mind. Don't get caught up in doing this, and this. Everything, even the bass guitar is better than the average guitar that we're buying, if that makes sense. So I would do the jumbo nickel frets, roasted maple neck, Floyd Rose tremolo, and the thin profile neck. And then anything I change over here is going to be no charge items. I'm not going to add anything. There's a lot of different changes. You can go from the white logo to the black logo. There's like 12 different colors. You can change your inlay colors. Now you are limited. There's no alimony. There's only colored dots, like colored like blues, greens, reds, blacks, stuff like that. Hardware, chrome or black is same price. I would go black on the hardware. Just stick at the no options that don't cost you anything, and pay for those four things, and you should be right at $1,600. And if you don't do the Floyd and you do the hip shot fixed bridge, that I think that comes on it. You can do the Kiesel bridge, which I hear good things about. That's only a $100 option. So that's going to put you in the $1,500 if you do the Kiesel bridge. And I've heard good things about the Kiesel bridge as well. It's not a Floyd, it's a floating system. I don't remember. I don't know if it's a Goth or a hip shot. I don't remember what bridge they're using, but I've heard good things about it. Saw a stupid deal on a Wolfgang special, spalted top. That really like knowing right off the bat the bridge has to go. But it's basically half the price for a limited time. So what bridge is on that guitar, Jerry? You're saying the bridge has to go. If it's a Wolfgang, is that a floating? Is that like a Floyd Rose special or? Oh yeah, Floyd Rose special. Yeah. Well, you buy that and then you follow my build video on the bridge. I think we were just under 300, and then you've got the world's most awesomest Floyd Rose tremolo that you can put in it. So that might be an option. Do that. Buy the guitar if it's that cheap. Then you can just build the bridge from scratch like we talked about. That might be a way of going. All right, guys. I think we're going to end the stream. I was actually only going to get on here for about an hour, but looks like we've been on here for 2 hours and 41 minutes. So I'm going to go out here in the kitchen and get a snack and spend some time with the lady. And remember, we're doing it again tomorrow night, guys. So we're gonna go over pickups tomorrow night. That's what everyone said they wanted to go and do. Pickups tomorrow night. And like I said, you can always go to the community page and do a post and leave some comments down there on what you all want to go over for tomorrow night's stream. And I'll get the amplifier set up and we'll do something special too, guitar wise, for tomorrow night. All right, guys, I appreciate y'all coming into the chat. And if you haven't, go and watch the new review video. It should be up. And like I said, it's the first time ever on this channel that I dialed in a death distortion tone for death metal music. So it was different. I kind of enjoyed doing it. All right, guys, go check out the video, and I'll see y'all tomorrow night.